Hello and thanks for joining us on the news at this hour on NTA International. I am Elizabeth Omori in compliments of the season. Now let's take the headlines. President Buhari receives letters of credence of United States from Ambassador to Nigeria and Sri Lanka's High Commissioner. Attorney General of the Federation directs release of former security advisor and convener of the Revolution Now by State Security Service. Plus, All Progressives Congress demands from security and intelligence agencies thorough probe of attack by gunmen on former President Goodluck Jonathan. Thank you so much for joining us. President Muhammadu Buhari Tuesday in Abuja urged United States of America to ensure that its sources of information on Nigeria cut across all sectors, as some people might provide misleading and manipulative narratives for self-serving purposes. In a statement signed by the Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, the President, who received letters of credence of the United States of America from Ambassador to Nigeria, Ms. Mary Beth Leonard, said the recent listing of Nigeria for human rights concerns created an impression that some people were being unfairly treated or marginalized in the country. President Buhari noted that he took time to explain the situation in the country when he met with President Donald Trump in Washington, D.C., as the American president expressed concern over reports of attacks on segments of the society. In a remark, the United States ambassador said Nigeria was listed on a watch list to deepen conversation on the humanitarian situation in the country, accepting that some people could flare the flames and crystallize issues that could affect peaceful coexistence. President Buhari also received a letter of credence from the High Commissioner of Sri Lanka to Nigeria. The President appreciated the country for supporting Nigeria to provide the President of the United Nations General Assembly. The High Commissioner said both countries face similar challenges and pledged his country's support. And up to the judiciary, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami SN has directed the State Security Services to release the former security advisor Sambo Dasuki and the convener of the Revolution Now, Omoyele Sowore.
Says he is not unmindful of the rights of the complainant and prosecution to appeal or further challenge the grant of bail by the court having regards to extant legal provisions, particularly Section 169 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015. However, the AGF's office has chosen to comply with the court orders while considering the pursuit of its rights of appeal and or review of the order relating to the bail as granted or varied by the courts. In line with the provisions of Sections 150, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, and in compliance with the bail granted to Colonel Sambo Dasuki retired, has recently varied by the Court of Appeal, and the bail granted to Omoyele Sowore, the AGF directed the State Security Services to comply with the order granting bail to the defendants and effect their release. The two defendants are enjoined to observe the terms of their bail and refrain from engaging in any act that is inimical to public peace and national security, as well as their ongoing trial, which will run its course in accordance with the laws of the land. The AGF reiterated again the utmost regard of his office for the entire judicial structure of Nigeria, saying this administration remains unrelenting in deepening the rule of law and the administration of justice in general.
Still on the judiciary, the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has ordered stay of execution of the commutal order of the Federal High Court against the Director General of the Bureau of Public Enterprises, Alex Oko. The three-man panel led by Justice Stephen Ada gave the restraining order in Abuja. The appellate court directed all parties in the matter to maintain the status quo ante pending the determination of the motion fixed for January 20, 2020. The Federal High Court in Abuja had issued a commutal order for 30 days against the Director General of PBE for alleged refusal to carry out the order of the Supreme Court on the BFI group against the Bureau. And in other news, President Muhammad Buhari Tuesday put a call to former President Goodluck Jonathan to sympathize with him following an attack by gunmen on his Otueke, Bayelsa State country residence. In a statement signed by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, the President, in a telephone conversation, expressed sadness over the tragic and unfortunate attack during which a gallant soldier lost his life. While commending the soldiers on guard for bravely repelling the attack, the President condoled with family members as well as officers and men of the Nigerian Army over the loss of one of the guards. Similarly, the All Progressives Congress, APC, is demanding from security and intelligence agencies a swift and thorough probe of the reports that gunmen attacked the country home of former President Goodluck Jonathan in Bayelsa. The APC, in a statement, says it joins other well-meaning Nigerians in condemning the attack in its entirety and calls on security agencies to fish out the perpetrators and other sponsors. And in other news, the planned phased withdrawal of troops from Benue, Taraba and Nasarawa states is clear indication of successful efforts by the Buhari administration to ensure the peaceful resolution of communal crisis in north-central Nigeria. Here are details of the statement by the Buhari Media Organization, BMO. Statement by the Buhari Media Organization said security challenges triggered by recurring herdsmen-farmers clashes and Tiv-Jukun crisis has been checked. Hence, President Muhammad Buhari's decision to send in troops has proven to be a masterstroke that has restored peace in the region. Meanwhile, the group has also endorsed Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, on his declaration that he was not elected into the National Assembly to fight the executive arm of government, but to engage and collaborate with other stakeholders to bring dividends of democracy to Nigerians. This, according to the group, is the correct attitude. Indeed, elected legislators were not sent to the National Assembly to become hostile towards members of the executive, but to engage positively to forge reforms, pass critical bills into law, and work towards Nigeria's development. There's this wrong notion, perhaps a scar from past legislative, that rancor between the executive and a stubborn National Assembly is the benchmark for booming democracy. That notion is false and, in fact, retrogressive. Well-functioning democracy involves partnerships between the arms of government for good governance to be delivered. And in the spirit of the season, President Muhammadu Buhari felicitates with the Christian community and Nigerians in general on the joyous occasion of Christmas. Here are details of the President's message.
President enjoins Christendom and all Nigerians to imbibe and demonstrate the essence of the season of love and goodwill among all the ethnic groups in the country, giving and sharing, strengthening the bonds of brotherhood and good neighborliness. He also urged Nigerians to focus on all that binds them together as one united country. The President also urged compatriots to shun all actions which negate the spirit of the season, stressing that celebrating the spirit and virtues of Christmas need not be a one-day affair, but rather ought to continue into the new year. In line with the spirit of Christmas, the President calls on all elements whose actions are opposed to what the season represents, especially insurgents, terrorists, armed robbers, kidnappers and economic saboteurs, to retrace their steps and join people of goodwill and common humanity. He cautioned that they will meet their end as the armed forces, security and law enforcement agencies are poised now to confront and defeat them if they continue. President Buhari further says Nigerians must make extra efforts to live in peace and harmony with their neighbors irrespective of differences. The President says, and I quote, "While it is gladdening to note that incidents of violence and conflicts have reduced drastically owing to the several operations embarked on by our security agencies, we must not let our guards down." He further says, as Christmas indicates good tidings of hope and redemption, Nigerians can look forward to a turnaround in the administration's priority areas of fighting corruption, providing security, economic diversification, job creation, and infrastructure upgrade. End of quote. President Buhari reiterates his promise to remain resolutely committed to the actualization of a vision of bright and prosperous future for all Nigerians. The President reminded Nigerians on the occasion to pray for members of the armed forces and other security agencies who are making so much sacrifice to protect the nation from people of evil intent, and extend love to the families of those whose breadwinners made the ultimate sacrifice while defending their fatherland.
I, Muhammad Buhari.
I, Yemi Osinbajo.
We wish all Nigerians happy Christmas and prosperous New Year.
And still on Christmas, for the first time in more than 2 centuries, there will be no Christmas Mass at the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, France, a tradition that has endured since 1803. This means Christmas Masses will be skipped this week for the first time in over 200 years after a devastating fire gutted the building in April. Justin Bemwin reports that the 855-year-old landmark has been closed to the public since the massive blaze ripped off the cathedral, destroying its iconic spire and noticeably altering the Paris skyline.
Away from the usual bells ringing at this building over the years, France's historic Notre Dame Cathedral will be dark and empty on Christmas for the first time in more than 200 years. The iconic Gothic structure has been relegated to a massive construction site since the devastating blaze that collapsed its roof and spire in April. Notre Dame even held Christmas masses during the 2 world wars as a symbol of hope amid the bloodshed. The faithful are looking to keep that spirit alive outside the historic walls this Christmas. This is as Cathedral Rector Patrick Chauvet has said Christmas services have been moved a mile away to Saint Germain l'Auxerrois, a church dating back to the 7th century. A wooden liturgical platform that resembles Notre Dame's own has been constructed in the Saint Germain Church, as the Notre Dame choir will also perform a song to the crowd of faithful. Now, what does this mean for the Catholics in Paris, France this Christmas? And what is the message to Christians all over the world?
Yes, they'll be disappointed that they cannot say Mass there, but yes, they'll have the possibility of also having a celebration of Masses in neighboring parishes. The issue, I think, is for us to return to our faith and to be as faithful as the apostles were, and to be as faithful as those who built these huge places of worship, where it was their faith that made them to build this place of worship. So going there to admire the grandeur and the beauty of it, it's not all that matters.
More than $1 billion was pledged by thousands of donors to finance the reconstruction, as French President Emmanuel Macron set a 5-year goal to complete the work. The cause of the blaze remains a mystery and the subject of multiple investigations. Investigators said an electrical short or a simple cigarette could have ignited the blaze. Justin Bemwin, NTA News.
Thank you so much, Justin, for that report. Moving on, Republican and Democratic leaders in the American Senate have clashed over rules of President Trump's impeachment trial. Democrats are demanding assurances that witnesses and documents will be allowed to enable what they term a fair trial. Top Democrat Chuck Schumer says the recent release of an explosive email about aid to Ukraine is a reminder of what openness should be. Republican leader Mitch McConnell says he has not ruled out witnesses, but he stopped short of agreeing ahead of time to take testimony during the trial. President Trump was formally impeached by the House last week for abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. He is the 3rd president in the country's history to be impeached. However, he is unlikely to be removed from office, as his Republican Party has a majority in the Senate, where the trial will be held as stipulated in the U.S. Constitution. You're still watching the news on NTA International. Let's take a breather now. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
That channel where you watch just now don't waka. No panic.
Then say me no panic.
You go do it by yourself like ABC. Oh yeah, press the menu button on top your remote. Scroll up and down till you see Information Central. Then press OK.
Press OK.
Check the signal strength and quality. If the signal strength and quality pass 70, make you press the exit button, go back. Go advanced options, then choose installation, then go to reset and press OK.
Press OK.
Wow, now you sef fit catch all those channels wey be one miss road by yourself. Yes, make your group for no loss. You see as I do am, abi?
And I see as I do am.
Go TV. Live it. Love it.
And I see as
Thanks for staying with us. President Muhammad Buhari is urging the United States not to ignore the larger picture of a united Nigeria while analyzing and making use of information from its sources on the situation in the country. Exchanging views with the new United States ambassador to Nigeria, the president insists that information on Nigeria must cut across all sectors, as some people might provide misleading and manipulative narratives for self-serving purposes. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The new United States ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Beth Leonard, was in the State House to present her letters of credence to President Muhammadu Buhari as she begins official duties in Nigeria. President Buhari told the envoy that the recent listing of Nigeria for human rights concerns created an impression that some people were being unfairly treated or marginalized in the country. The president said he took some time to explain the situation in the country when he met President Donald Trump in Washington, D.C., who expressed concern over reports of attacks on segments of the Nigerian society. As the Nigerian leader puts it during the conversation behind closed doors, "I sit here with a clear conscience. I took an oath and I'm honoring the office." He said it is not an easy task to work for the unity of the country, but believes that he is doing his very best. President Buhari therefore asked the envoy to use her experience, knowledge, energy, and posting opportunity to Nigeria to get the facts on the country. The United States ambassador, Mary Leonard, explained that Nigeria's inclusion on the watch list was only to deepen conversation on the humanitarian situation in the country. She, however, accepted that some people could flare the flames and crystallize issues capable of affecting peaceful coexistence. She assured the president that the United States recognizes and celebrates the integration in Nigeria and will always side with transparent processes, as the two countries have a lot in common and will do a lot more together for peace, security, sharing of intelligence, and delivering humanitarian services. President Buhari also received letters of credence from the High Commissioner of Sri Lanka to Nigeria, Ahmed Sabarullah Khan. The president appreciated the country for supporting Nigeria towards attaining the presidency of the United Nations General Assembly. High Commissioner Sabarullah Khan said both Nigeria and Sri Lanka face similar challenges and will continue to support each other. He said his country is willing to strengthen bilateral relations with Nigeria on trade and investments. Officers and soldiers of the Presidential Guards Brigade had earlier treated the new envoys to a befitting diplomatic welcome on arrival at the forecourt of Nigeria's seat of government. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And away from diplomatic relations, the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, Positive FM Akure, has recognized and honored some Nigerians for their immense contributions to nation building. One of the award recipients is Dr. Felix Ale, Head, Media and Corporate Communications, Nigerian Space Research and Development Agency. Ariyo Abiola reports.
A golden fish, they say, has no hiding place, but in this case, there are 13 who have distinguished themselves in their chosen career. The event was a convergence of people from all walks of life. One of the recipients, Dr. Felix Ale, a seasoned journalist, says the award is intended to recognize excellence and dedication, having started his journalism career in Ondo State before he rose to his present position.
We have been monitoring what we are doing, at the space agency. And I also see this award as a recognition of the exemplary performance of the National Space Research and Development Agency, where I am privileged to be the spokesperson today by the special grace of God.
Others were chosen from the academia, politics, journalism, among others.
Just work, be yourself, don't look for reward, somehow it will come.
The recognition, as explained by the organizers, is to encourage others to contribute meaningfully to nation building.
They are not going to rest on their hours in ensuring that Nigeria is a better society, in ensuring that everyday Nigerian is informed to the level in which we'll be able to take good decisions.
We have identified them and we felt okay, a way of encouraging them further is by this development.
Thereafter, members of staff, Positive FM, were appreciated for their dedication to duties. In Akure, Abiola Rio, NTA News.
Let's now beam our searchlight on power generation. Following some apparent infractions in the Rural Electrification Agency, Minister of Power Salim Aman has directed the Managing Director of the agency, Damilola Ogunbi, to proceed on indefinite suspension with immediate effect. A statement by the Special Advisor to the Minister on Media and Communications directed that the suspended Managing Director should hand over to the most senior officer in the agency. Consequently, the minister ordered for immediate investigation into the activities of the agency towards repositioning it for better service delivery. And now to education. The federal government has expressed concern over the demographics of Nigerian universities, which indicate preponderance of over-localization and indigenization, with only few having outlooks of being national institutions in terms of national spread of their staff and students population. To this end, efforts are on to improve the situation to give them national and international outlook, with the government recently directing that universities should ensure representation of all states and local governments in their recruitment and admission exercises. Executive Secretary, National Universities Commission, Professor Abubakar Rashid, at an interactive session with the media, cleared misconceptions on the directive that government has abrogated catchment area as part of criteria for admission into Nigerian universities.
A university is a universal universe. There's the word universe in university. Universe is the whole world. University should be open to everybody, to allow so many people to come to bring different experiences there.
By Musa Sulaja quotes Professor Rashid as saying that the Commission is focused on building programs in tertiary institutions, which led to sacking of staff found guilty of accreditation corruption, and that the Commission is working with the universities to ascertain genuine professors in the country before the next quarter. Still on education, discoveries from the 2019 round of examination conducted by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Examination Board indicate that the use of the National Identity Number will help prevent multiple registration by candidates. JAMB Registrar Professor Ishak Oloyede stated this when he met with State Commissioner of Education in Abuja. Olayinka Ujo reports.
In recent times, it has been discovered that some candidates register multiple times for the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination to perpetrate the crime of impersonation. Examination malpractice begins at the point of registration. And in this hall are decision makers in the education sector from the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT, as well as JAMB officials.
It's high time we really get rid of them, because they are tarnishing not only the image of education, but also destroying the future.
The challenges to be addressed by these experts is expected to curb the proliferation of examination centers that perpetrate examination malpractices, as well as ensure a 2020 UTME devoid of malpractice of any kind.
There must be, support to some of the CVC centers in the rural community so that they can reduce and improve access.
And I think with this stakeholders meeting, it has given me an insight to talk.
We are going to ensure that malpractices do not occur.
Since paying attention to public examination has become necessary, the lead decision maker here says the collaboration and use of the national identity number for examination is to eliminate sharp practices by some candidates and centers during registration as well as examination.
If we do not face the difficulty today, we are sentencing these boys and girls to a future that will be bleaker than our own.
It will be recalled that JAMB recently met with owners of 133 delisted computer-based test centers involved in one offense or the other during the 2019 UTME. Olainka Ojo.
And before we go, let's take a quick look at the weather picture.